Our movement to produce a truly dominant small watercraft continues, and we've had moderate success in an uphill battle, but there's more than one way to do this. Any business or organization or creator who ignores the calls of their audience base will fail, and the audience demanded this, that I use this as the next portable watercraft base for a project. I've advocated since the beginning of my channel that plastic boats are simply not the way, that there are too many design flaws in the hull itself, and that any sort of mod to them will be meager and useless and only add to the deficiency of the boat. But my audience still charged me with the task of making it, so I did. I built this thing in 1 week, the best I could, and then got it prepped to take it out. We did not go easy on it. It was tested by multiple people and compared directly to my best boat that I've ever built. It turned out that it didn't just perform well, it performed exceptionally well, in that it made me question everything I thought I knew. Maybe I know nothing at all. To watch this 8-foot boat that had been neglected and waterlogged and bought at a yard sale for pennies, that got built in a week, go directly against the best boat I've ever made and really make it come out limping to win. It made me wonder what could be done if I just took this thing and gave it the amount of attention I gave to the original Yak Killer. If I tried my best to max it out to the brink of its potential, what could it do? And what could I do with a 10-footer? We, ladies and gentlemen, will find out. The things I do to this boat will be unethical. They will be like nothing I've ever done before. I'm not even sure if you should do it yourselves, but we're gonna do it anyways because I have this vision of what this can be now and what it will have to be to succeed. None of the industry standards will fit this. We will have to make everything from scratch, modify all of it, make new systems that don't exist, make new things that would make sense but are not present now, things you will have to do yourself, and also some products that we as a company have made along for you to fit applications like this. We will go all out and max this to the brink of its potential to see what this plastic boat can truly be capable of, and if it fails, then it fails, but if it doesn't and it succeeds, then it will become the next. This video is brought to you by our website, tbnation.net, where we sell tons of boat parts, including many specific parts specifically for tiny boat building. Check out the link in the description below. It's on Instagram, it's on YouTube, it's on TikTok, it's everywhere. And while you're there, check out our Pond Monster kits, because the lids and the whole system that we were using in this boat can be found right here, including some other updated ones that will come post completion of this project. We also are going to be using the new Insta360 X3. I have made a gigantic push ever since using the first one to now get rid of all my GoPros and only use these cameras because of the unique angles they can get. It's like having your own personal film crew when it's just you filming. That, and they're extremely reliable and high quality. If you want to check these out, the link is in the description below, along with a specific promo code for a free gift if you go through that link. Alright, so here we go. By the way, I cleaned up my garage. I made a bunch of different things, and now it's way more efficient, and we can probably get this done much faster now that it's all organized. So since we got it from Vegas, this is where it's been. Yeah, it's a brand new one. Yeah, it's a little disgraceful. That's all good. Timing is everything, ladies and gentlemen. By the way, this plug is pretty useless. It's too high up. In order for you to get any sort of drainage, you got to make this thing go up. It's kind of stupid, I think, maybe. Good integration would have been like making it through the deck. I mean, the whole middle is flat anyways, right? You could just imprinted a plug right in the middle. It would have been way better. This would have actually drained. So with a little bit of work, we got it all clean and shiny again. Now, the bigger part is for this whole thing is how we modify the sides over the pontoons. Those specific sides are how we achieved a lot of success in the initial Propeller 8 design, where we took these sides and there was just enough depth clearance to add a few rods into that slot, and on the side have a little bit of gear in there. It actually made for some sort of meager storage without actually having to modify the hull. Here though, we had to modify it because the mold was too high and we needed some clearance depth. We're going to start by taking this whole boat apart in the seam, but those staples, they're legit. We're not going to be able to get them out. So we did the only thing we could do, which is just cut the molding out stock. verbatim. And we're going to replace that with just flat aluminum panel sheeting, which we're going to have to use rivet washers and do some things to get it in there, but we'll get it in there and it'll just be like flat, so we can have the same flat storage without modifying the hull any further and compromising its rigidity. But since we had to gut the side tunes open anyways, why not look what's in there and how it's built? I mean, just, you know, for science. And what happened is there's just a bunch of loose foam in there that's not tightly packed to the hull. It's just in there floating around. Dude, that was like seriously easy and also extremely disturbing. This thing has never seen a lake.
Just rain.
How? How did like slight, it's not even heavy rain. It doesn't rain heavy here.
You know what's more amazing? It's all come from these. Everything else is sealed.
Dude, it had to have come from these. Dude, what the freak? That's pathetic, man. Okay. I have no faith.
Leave the center foam?
There's no center foam.
Okay.
Is there? Yeah. No, that's just a piece. This would be a ruin.
Good thing is we can cut this to fit again.
That's heinous. I'm embarrassed. Don't put stickers like this if it's built like shit. Just like do us a favor and don't tell nobody. Update. Plan A and B have failed miserably. So we are on to plan C, and if that fails, we'll have a plan D, E, and F. I mean, we have an infinite amount of plans. Not really, but you know, you gotta have something. So our plan is to actually make a quad bilge pump setup inside the tunes, 2 per each tune. What are you doing? We're putting an initial floor and it's sitting on top of the divot here. That allows for some water to channel underneath it. And then we're gonna frame on top of the actual floor. And we will be adding some pour foam in here, possibly. We gotta add some drain plugs in the back too. This whole front drain plug thing is like not the greatest idea. Is there holes in the bottom?
No.
How did the water get in there?
I did.
All right, so to be hip and cool and unsafe, we took out all the foam. We think that it will rot the boat. It'll only be safe for the moment, and it'll be useless later, and the boat will get heavier and heavier. So in turn, we're going to use very little foam, just on the bottom for support, possibly on the sides, just for addition in here. But we have added a bilge pump for each pontoon. Then we'll be running PVC conduit through the inner wall, because the inner wall goes in about 5 inches, 6 inches almost from here in, before you run into that middle sponson section, which is probably right here. And we'll be running some additional foam in to structure that in, but in between that foam, we'll be running PVC conduits right at the very edge, fitting against this in just this inner wall, like so. Yeah, just like so. And that will be where we'll be running the wires to the bilge pumps and to any additional LEDs or electronics, because we will be having all those things in here. All right, we're cutting the rest of this to make the additional wall inside with this. So we were going to run just a piece of plywood across the top, but now we're going to have to run an entire aluminum frame. How we did that is in the very inside of the lip, we riveted through that and used rivet washers on the other side to make the entire lip for the boat to attach the framing across. We used rivet washers on the inside against the plastic so the rivets wouldn't pull through and crack the plastic. Plus, last year, Nate made these ultralight lids, which if you hold them, they're the lightest lids we have in our product line to date. Now, for a bigger boat, they might not be so keen, but for a smaller boat like this, with only a little bit of space, these are perfect. And for a little bit of extra time and a fee, we can powder coat and make them any custom color and size you want. The bigger thing now is layout. What is going to be the best layout? We wanted to include a pedestal mount this time, which is something I was lacking on the other boat. Not that I necessarily need it, but it would be nice in certain cases, especially just for security. Then we have 3 additional hatches, 2 which will have drop-in storage liners that go directly in, and 1 free-floating for the terminal stow. This would be the ideal layout that I would recommend to most people who are going to use this kit and just run meager mods and not do anything crazy to the front and just running some trolling motors. This works on this boat, and the Bass Raider probably would work better on the Bass Hunter and any other flat boat with less protrusions from the mold. Another big advantage is we will have to frame this less in the inside because we already have drop-in bins. Now, making the bins in the walls takes an obscene amount of time, but if you can have drop-in bins and you can replace them at will or just take them out for maintenance, it's awesome. We are totally just going to use this for the inside of the core. It's perfect for this boat, and it's perfect for pretty much any other boat, and we offer these in a multitude of actual sizes for any sort of application. All right, so we got Claycos in place. These hatches are just here for the moment. Good thing about buying these hatches, they're already pre-made, templated. They have a dry track in, which also adds to the actual rigidity and strength of the hatch itself. Bowing through, And the white balance sucks on these iPhones, so I know it just shifted, but it really is, it's actually very nice, pleasant green. Same color as the actual turf, which is over here in this box.
Ready?
Ready. That's sick. And then, yeah, breaching points for the conduit right here. Plan to run the wiring all the way down, and then obviously into the pour foam section. This will all be pour foamed, and then that's how it's gonna go. We're looking at how to frame in the pedestal mounts. So if you're watching this and you bought the kit, this can all be done with rivets. I went too far in with a design. I can only think so far ahead, so many steps ahead, and normally I would have to gut and pull this whole thing out, but I cheated completely by using a welder inside the plastic boat. No, it's not the smartest thing. I recommend against it. That being said, I completely did it, and it saved me days of work and allowed me to work through like flaws that I normally have, which will make me drag out a build months. But you would essentially have to build the core for each locker and for the inside beforehand, and then drop them in and tie them all together once it's all done. So it is completely doable with rivets. But then another problem arose. I wanted to run a power drive in here, but I realized that I won't have the time or any real leeway to get one plus a ProNav unit in the time I need for this thing to be done. I have a real finite window for this boat to get done. So I went and searched for other options, and that made me change my layout completely. The closest, most affordable, and possibly the biggest staple trolling motor in existence is the Minn Kota Edge, and possibly the Motor Guide X3. But the Minn Kota Edge is better. So I'm choosing this Edge over the power drive, knowing that I will lose the option for electronic steering, for spot lock, for nav lock heading, for routes. I'm losing that all. But in the midst of that, I am gaining something that I have lost for a long time. Stealth. The Minn Kota Edge is an extremely quiet trolling motor. Stealth is extremely important to me as a fisherman. If I can get this to creep around corners without being spotted, that is your best chance to catch an intelligent fish. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this project has officially gotten out of hand. I always have initial ideas. I look at them and I can reasonably say, this will probably take me about a week, and then something always kind of goes the other way. My mind just does what it does. It has visions, and it compels me to do these visions. Kind of like I'm possessed. I'm a slave to it. I can't back away once it's there. People have told me that I'm clinically insane and should seek help. Maybe they're right. But I've never met somebody who's told me that were doing incredibly well for themselves, that were living their dream. Most men live in quiet desperation. Only 15% of men actually enjoy their job. If you ever look at anybody who's successful, they possess all these traits that are deemed as mental illnesses by the DSM and the ICD-10, deemed by the alleged professionals from the prior institution that I worked with. When I was a clinician and I evaluated people, truth be told, most of them just had normal problems, and there was a fraction of people who truly had illnesses that caused significant marked impairment on their lives to where they had trouble functioning. I don't know if you've ever seen an actual classroom full of the people that actually go into the counseling and social work professions in college, but they're all a unique group of people, not a diverse group. There's no ideological diversity. It's very cultish. And those are the people that go on to influence policies and make changes and tell you that you have something wrong with you in your brain. But you know what's even more insane? Living like a sheep your entire life, holding back from what you truly want to do, only to end up on hospice at age 60, 1 or 2 years after your retirement. A life where the biggest highlight of your day is taking a bathroom break and scrolling on your phone for entertainment. And then you come home exhausted. You have all these ideas and all these things you want to do, but you're too tired and exhausted to do any of them, so you just sit on your couch and you watch TV, and you're screwed. Meanwhile, your boss is lying to you, telling you all kinds of things like, your heart's just not in this company's your future, you gotta go all in all out, overworking and underpaying you, saying whatever you can, all kinds of bullshit. They'll say whatever they can to cement you there as an employee forever, offer you health insurance. They don't offer health insurance for you, they offer health insurance because it gives them tax deductions for their business when they have so many employees. You ever try to talk a sheep into not being a sheep anymore? It's always the same reasons. Oh, my steady paycheck, with health insurance, how am I gonna make it? This is why bees don't waste time trying to explain to flies why honey is better than shit. Health insurance is not gonna save you from a miserable life. The Spartans had it right, chump. Go out in your shield, never be subjugated into old age to where you can do nothing, where you lost your chance to shoot your shot. Death awaits us all, and I used to work in hospice as a social worker, and I will tell you, virtually all of them lived the sheep life, working meager jobs into retirement, saving all they could up until the point where they could barely walk, All of them had regrets, insane regrets. All of them wanted to redo it, and if all of them could redo it, they would all go out on their shield. Most people don't think about death. A lot of cultures won't even talk about it because it's just one of those things that's taboo. But if you knew what awaited you, you would study it more. You would make peace with it, and you would understand that the earlier it comes, the better off you are, so you might as well just go all out. Leave nothing on the table. Terminal decline awaits us all. And when you've declined enough in your life, what are you going to do? Compete against some young buck who's hungry? He's going to outpace you. So whatever you do, don't sit around and wait. You want to squander and blow and be irresponsible with money? That is whatever. Money is something that is reoccurring. They make more and more of it every day. But the one thing you can never get back is time. If you squander and waste your time as a man, that is the ultimate crime you can commit against yourself, and you will end up getting exactly what you deserve. So the next time you see somebody and they tell you you're crazy or that you're not going to make it, look at what they're doing. Are they old, 40, single, driving in their old dented Toyota Corolla, about to go to their meager apartment and hate their lives? Choose your mentors wisely. Work on yourself, find your groove, find your hustle, and make it work. I testify these things to be true. Hey guys, if you're watching these videos and you like this channel, the best thing you can do is move your finger 2 inches down the phone screen and click the like button, and even leave a comment. Subscribing would be even better. It shows only 18% of you guys are subscribed. That's crazy. Now back onto the video. All right, so I had a lot of good footage that I thought the GoPro was getting, and it turns out the GoPro didn't record anything, even though it said it was recording everything. And so I didn't get a lot of the intricate stuff that I had from a POV, so that blows. But what's good though is we're just gonna have to show you everything in pieces. So I acquired this super bad habit from the military. It's called hurry up and wait. So I hurry up and bought this, and then I waited till just now to use it. So it's in pretty good shape. We didn't really finish the core frame. There was just small minute things we have to do inside the actual frame to include coring the rest of this, making a spot for the black box. We got the graphs. This is how it will look when it's all done. They'll be nice proportionate size. We're gonna make our own DIY manual turning pole for the actual Panoptics, which will run off the main shaft of the trolling motor that we'll make. Nothing else exists like it, but we will be making it. The grab handle comes out pretty well. Oh, the boat is for sure a little heavier. The rest of the weight will go towards the back and the batteries. We have anchors and the motor off the back of the batteries. Any of that weight will actually help displace a little bit of this. We have 060 sheeting, 063 sheeting that'll just go on these select panels, which is really a small area and not going to weigh near that much. Will this all sit funky by the time we're all done with it? Maybe, but we're trying to pay as much careful attention to weight as possible. The best way to have done this would have been the initial way, which is adding the 3 lids and then having like a Minn Kota power drive or a Tarova or something. I was going to have a power drive with a Pro Nav, but I just didn't have time to set it up. This is like a spur of the moment, not well planned project. So I do really like the cable steer. The non-motorized turning and the sleekness and the quietness of a Minn Kota Edge is very well known. You can tell it's just quiet. It's very stealthy. So this whole thing needs to be stealthy in a small pond. You're immediately figured out in a small body of water. It's just easier. Obviously the turning response is better. A lot of things are better, but you had to sacrifice stationary stuff. You have to have a stationary spot for the pedal, or the pedal is just cumbersome and terrible to have. You have to have it mounted, placed somewhere, or the cable will swing it everywhere. So that's where we had to put in the tray. That's the shorty pedal tray. This is our shorty pedal tray. Here's our graph mount that we modified. And we have a new graph mount that actually modifies, so it skips this whole bracket and it just has one bent out. So you can actually forego all this stuff, which this actually works really good cosmetically for the boat, but there in other spots it's just not great. And there are better designs now. We have a second generation graph mount. You guys gotta check that thing out. We're using 050 sheeting inside these because I really just want these pontoons to be stable. We did take all the structural rigidity out when we gutted all that foam. That was the boat's structural rigidity. It was that foam. It wasn't the best, but it was what they had. So now we had to replace that with a hollow void. And because we're replacing that hollow void, we're using 050. You probably could get away with 040 in there, and it would be a little better. You would save a little bit of weight. 025 is too small. I think 050 will be good overall, just as a standalone free structure, because most of this is just going unsupported because we gutted it. The lid frames coming down into the tracks like that provide their own sort of rigidity and structure. So attaching this in here is actually a form of free frame strengthening just from the lid itself. Whenever we attach all these lids with a million rivets, the more rivets you actually have in it, the stronger the frame is. Alright guys, that was it for this video, but not for this series. I wanted to show you all in one video, but truthfully, this boat is kicking my arse real bad, and I'm gonna have to do it in a few videos. And I'll show you just a quick preview of some of the cool stuff that we created from scratch to make this boat very unique, and some of the things we might actually be able to implement as products in the store later, coming forth after the prototypes have been tested along with this boat. Stay tuned guys, it is all coming, and we will do things here that will give this boat a pretty significant edge, and perhaps it can do what no other boat its size has ever been able to do. Stay tuned.